Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I did that 2 times because I'm terrible at this, but we are trimming our live shows down to clips that you're watching. So if you didn't watch us live, watch us Tuesday nights, Thursday nights. We have a lot of fun. I'm here with Jody. I'm over on his channel on Wednesdays. Go check out Jody's Corner on YouTube if you haven't already. But I was just asking him now. Let's pretend like I didn't already ask you this, Jody. I was just asking him, man, do you have it in you to make a fight about the Hunger Games? Have you seen any of the Hunger Games movies? And you said
I ain't seen none of them sheets, bro, but I got a lot of questions.
He has a lot of questions. And as I was telling you, I saw him because of the Honest Trailers, as I said, as the old man. I had to watch them for Honest Trailers. We had to make Honest Trailers about these Hunger Game movies because they were so popular with the kids, them and the Twilight movies. And so I was always looking at them, and I hated the first one. I just thought it was really poorly directed, but it was a cool idea of this sort of like battle royale. You know, we got to offset the population.
Oh, yeah, almost forgot again. Freak, let me interrupt you again one more time. Can I tell you how I feel about the whole franchise?
Oh yeah, sorry. So before I even so let's Jody, what are the Hunger Games about?
Okay, based on what I know, and I know very little, but based on what I've heard, the Hunger Games is Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, the 3-part or 4-part film series that is based off a novel that was widely popular. A lot of the girls love it the most. You know, it's about this brave girl in this world where they're hungry and, you know, they starving like a motherfucker. And there's factions like a lottery system where they get chosen to represent their clan or faction. And they go into these Hunger Games literally and have to fight to the death. And the winner gets a lot of spoils.
You're pretty close, sort of. I'll give you mostly interesting. Correct for that. Yeah, I mean they are hungry. It's about like the higher class, like sort of trying to Thanos like the population a bit and keep it all controlled. And so each district has to like nominate someone to go into the Hunger Games because all the other districts are poor and hungry, as you said. And then there's like some middle class, but mostly it's really just the President Snow and the high class, and then the lower people are just trying to steal bread. And anyway, so the movie though itself is like this battle royale where they have to like send kids out to like die, and one of them gets to live and be the hero, and then the rest. So it's kind of like The Purge, but different. So, but regardless, I was like, well, that's an interesting idea. Like, at least it's dark and like dystopian. Like, I can get into that.
Was it dark though?
No, it tries to do it later. But so anyway, the interesting part of the movie is the Hunger Games, right? Because then all these kids go in the middle, and they have to like get weapons, and they got to try and fight, or some of them camp out and try and like be the last one surviving. There's all these tactics, and that part of it was actually kind of cool. And Catching Fire, I think the second one, is sort of like a big version. It's like they do like an All-Stars or something. Anyway, but then the other two they don't even really start doing Hunger Games anymore. They're trying to take it all down and take President Snow down, which, spoiler alert, they do. So anyway, that's the Hunger Games in a nutshell. Blah, 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 blah. But, you know,
successful franchise, by the way.
Successful. Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen, became a huge star. Yeah. She did great. You know, people loved her. And, you know, there are 2 things that they loved: the Hunger Games and her. So now Suzanne Collins is writing this book, The Song of Snakes and some dumb name.
Is she the writer of the original Hunger Games?
She's the writer, and so she's gone and doing a Fantastic Beasts prequel about young President Snow. Now, President Snow was Donald Sutherland, like old Donald Sutherland, and now they're making young Donald Sutherland to be like him and his like uprising through being the rich person. And no Katniss, no Hunger Games because they're not around yet, and that's the story. So what are we doing?
Oh.
Why would we make a prequel Hunger Games movie without Katniss or without Hunger Games? This is stupid.
It wouldn't be called Hunger Games, obviously, right?
Well, it's called The Ballad. All right, I have the story here.
It's not going to be Hunger Games anymore.
So they brought
Francis. How they got there?
They brought Francis Lawrence back and Michael Arndt, who did Little Miss Sunshine. So the whole team's back. Lionsgate's doing this movie, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snake, which the book drops on May 19th. It takes place in the Hunger Games universe. We do know the plot of it. Hold on, it is.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Here's what I would do if I was doing a Hunger Games prequel. If you know that this post-dystopian world is suffering and people are broke and hungry, show us how society went from a civilized place into crumbling down to where motherfuckers got to fight to the death to freaking survive and eat. Show us the collapse of society and show it how it got there. I think that's a good idea. The Purge. You even bring up The Purge. The Purge did it. They did a prequel. The last one was a prequel showing just how we kind of got to the point where it's okay to kill people for 24 hours.
Yeah, it still sounds dumb. Here's what it's actually about. It follows Coriolanus. I said this before. Jody, his name is Coriolanus. Coriolanus. Not picking that up.
Coriolanus.
I am definitely getting demonetized saying the name Coriolanus. Coriolanus Snow, at age 18, years before he would become the tyrannical president of Panam, young Coriolanus.
Let's call him Coriolanus.
Coriolanus is a handsome, charming, and though the Snow family has fallen on hard times, he sees a chance for a change in his fortunes when he is chosen to be the mentor for the 10th Hunger Games. Okay, so they will have Hunger Games. Only to have his elation dashed when he is assigned to mentor the girl tribute from the impoverished District 12. Oh, poor rich Cornelius having to be with the young poor girl from the other district. She put up a sample out and it was terrible. So look, I'm so sick. Here's my fight. So here's what we're trying to change my mind on, and you could actually fight on this.
I think I can.
Why doesn't Suzanne Collins just write a new book? Like, why does her and J.K.
obvious.
Rowling, why do we have to just keep rewarding them and buying their prequel garbage? Fantastic Beasts was garbage. It's just dumb. Why do we always have to go back?
The Hobbit wasn't good either.
Why do we have to go back and make these prequels to hit franchises that would never have been made except for money? I'm so sick of it. It's so stupid. If you're a talented author like J.K. Rowling and Suzanne Collins, who I believe could be good, from the maker of the Hunger Games comes the, Loch Ness Monster University, whatever the hell she wants to come up with. People will still buy it, and then she's making new IP. She's actually creating something new. She's not relying on the old IP and just selling and selling and selling. I'm so sick of it, and I'm so sick of us as audiences to be like, okay, sure, there's a young President Snow. Great. I want to watch him as a young boy. No one wants to watch that. There are fans of the Hunger Games who are already like, nah, no thanks, checked out, see ya. So why? This is stupid. This shouldn't be. Why are we making prequels instead of making original content, Jody? I know why, because of money. That's the easy answer. But shouldn't we be, as fans, sticking up and saying, you know what? I'm so sick of this drivel prequel garbage. Let's actually force them to not buy their book and say, you know what, Suzanne Collins, I'll buy your next original book. Let's see you actually flex those muscles and try and create another franchise and prove that you're not just a one franchise pony. Jody, what do you think?
I think the problem is the way that you're approaching this scenario. There's a lot of assumptions in your statements, man. There's a lot of people for the Hunger Games that I'm sure want this so bad, love this shit, can't wait for a prequel series. It was only 4 movies. We took the Star Wars prequels and we said, give them to me now. Hook that shit to my veins, right into my blood. I'll take a prequel series right where they're about to get another Star Wars prequel series and we can't wait because we want to change things up. If based on what you said about this woman who wrote the original books, by the way, so what about the fans of that woman? And they're seeing that she's making another book and another movie for it. Why would they not want that? She's getting paid, but she's doing her fans a service as well. This is the equivalent of George R.R. Martin, who is Game of Thrones. He's the Game of Thrones guy. He's the daddy. He is writing another book. We're waiting for book. He is doing a show on, it's basically a prequel called The House of the Dragon, which is a prequel to Game of Thrones going back 1,000 years. Well, guess what, Andy? Sign me up. I'll take that shit, put it in my freaking mouth right now. That's how we feel about it, man. It's Game of Thrones. And even though Game of Thrones ended badly, that season 8 was trash, yes. But it's because it's coming from George R.R. Martin, and he's the creator of Game of Thrones. And he's making this show, and he's really involved with it. And it's a prequel. Sign me up. We need more of the world, bro. There's a lot of fans out there that don't agree with what you're saying.
I hear you, and so you are changing my mind a bit, but here's where I'll adjust my point then. Sure, you built a world, okay, like Star Wars. It's a great world. I understand why you can tell new stories in Star Wars, but I wouldn't call them prequels per se. The Mandalorian's not a prequel. It's another journey of a new original character walking around and interacts with some stuff once in a while, but it's not a prequel, right? My problem here is, why couldn't she build something in that world, zoom ahead, go parallel, different place? There was another country that did it. Figure out something else to world build instead of just going back, you know what? Let's go revisit how this character, there was so much more to mine there. That's why I didn't write the book there, but it's a cash grab.
So you're okay with parallel and sequels, but not prequels. You have an issue with it being a prequel.
Yeah, I have an issue with them. Well, a sequel.
I don't see the difference.
Sequels are, if she had continued to make Hunger Games books and didn't end it, then she's continuing her franchise. It is what it is. You could argue, well, there's nothing left to tell. This is stupid. You can make that argument, right? Harry Potter, whatever, Lord of the Rings. I get that. But most Game of Thrones, you made a good point. At a certain point, the author's like, you know what? I've told my story. It's over, right? But so that's my point of like, I can understand sequels to a point, but then I can understand her offshoots. Star Wars is the perfect example. But Fantastic Beasts and now Hunger Games, they're sort of going off this new prequel model, and I'm talking even more movies than the books, but it's both. But they're going off because like, well, shit, how do we make more movies? Is really what it's about. And I genuinely believe that's why she's making this book. Because sure, she'll sell the books, but she knows she can also sell the movie rights. It's a double whammy for her. So her and J.K. Rowling are like, well, shit, I can't make Harry Potter books anymore, but we could go back and do Fantastic Beasts. And it pales in comparison. It always does. It never is as good. And sure, diehard fans will go say, yes, please, inject it in my veins. Give me as much as I can get. But why can't we be better than that? Give them something better. Like, build up a new story. Even like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, like, goes in weird, different directions as them as older people. And at least is like attempting to like continue the story forward. I hate this idea where filmmakers, authors decide, you know what? There was more to that, which there wasn't. There was more to that I am now going to uncover because of money. That's what I'm, it just doesn't feel genuine. You know what I mean? It feels like forced. Yeah, let me just pump out more stuff. It's like what they're doing in Marvel with Captain Marvel and stuff. Like, it just feels like they're going back and retconning things to create, well, no, there was all these things that happened. You didn't even realize it. And, arguable Star Wars, Game of Thrones, you're making good points but they go so far back that it becomes its own sort of thing, right? Because even Star Wars, prequels or whatever, they go so far back, you're sort of almost in new generations. So if Hunger Games had done that and been like, all right, let's do the first Hunger Games, all new characters, I might have been a little less angry, but I'm upset because they're doing this prequel to a character that she knows this isn't the guy. I don't know. I don't believe she really cares.
Look, you put yourself in her shoes, man. Look, if you're a writer who hits gold, you struck lightning. It don't hit twice sometimes. Maybe she doesn't have another great universe that'll make her $3 billion of box office receipts. It's best to play it safe and still be creative at the same time and write a prequel to an already successful franchise. Business-wise, I think it makes sense.
Sure.
Creative-wise, hey, you could go either way with it, bro. But, let's look at the way Hunger Games ended. Is there room for sequels? Because you kind of alluded that there's not really that much room for sequels.
No, they topple the empire and it's sort of over.
All right, so then you got to go back. So
you don't have to do anything. You can just be like, I told my story.
Let me tell a new.
You can tell a new story, right?
Games fan, would you, as a Hunger Games fan, you personally, would you, as a Hunger Games fan, rather nothing at all, or the prequels? Come on.
You're forcing me to be a Hunger Games fan, then I guess I would. But to be fair, it's polarizing fans and alike. There are a lot of fans who are like, yeah, I'm not interested in this. This sounds boring.
You're not hurting nothing with making it. You're just adding it. I could like it or not. But
there's money, of course, money. That's why this is all happening. But it just feels weird to like, they're going to call it, I don't know, Hunger Game. I think it has like a Hunger Games title, like Harry Potter. It's the Wizarding World, whatever. There's some, they're giving it a brand so that way they can do multiple offshoots and things. And I'm sure this will be the first of many sort of offshoots she does. But I don't know. That's you change my mind a little bit in that understanding, like, okay, fine, world building is one thing. I get that. And I get that if you've successfully built a world, you have a right to mine that world and find other things. So I'll give you...
What if this movie is fantastic? What if it opens up... They have an opportunity here to change the flow a little bit, make it more darker, more raw.
No.
Is this Fox?
We know where it goes. We absolutely know where it goes. So the only thing you can tell is a character study. But even the character they're leading with, who they're playing like as a nice guy, turns into the villain. It's totally the Darth Vader going back telling the prequel of how did he turn bad. And we're watching him as sort of a teen and he's had fun in love and he doesn't want to deal with the poor people. Look, it sounds dumb to me. I'm not a fan though, but it sounds dumb to other fans. I've seen it. And all I'm just saying is make a new story. Sure, okay, fine. I'll meet you in the middle. Fine, make a new story in the Hunger Games world. You don't need to go back and make the villain seem like the hero. To me, that's a cop-out that's lazy. We've seen it done a million times, and it just screams cash grab. And of all the things to go do a prequel about, that's what she chose? Make the first Hunger Games. That would have been interesting. How did the world actually decide to make a Hunger Games? Was there a revolt? Like, the people push back? You know what? Now, the more I hear that sounds interesting. Like what got to the point where they're like, someone's like, fine, or I guess they didn't, and then eventually they gave into. But then my point is that would have been more interesting than let's watch the terrible Snow president try and turn his way into being a hero. It's tacky, it's lazy. That's what I got on this. So I'm wrapping this bit up. Thanks for watching this Hunger Games fight. I got more fights coming. You should be watching us on YouTube live on Tuesday nights for Change Your Minds. But thanks for watching here on YouTube. That's it. Bye.